Now, Allegra, just on the hung parliament question that Paul put to you, there hasn't been a Labor member for Wentworth ever. Will you have that in mind when you make that call?
Look, I will absolutely. I have the community of Wentworth very much in mind if it comes to that situation. And it's really about what are the values of this community and how to make sure that you best represent it. And whatever happens, whatever parliament we have, whether we have a hung parliament or majority of either side, I will be advocating, I'll be legislating, and I'll be voting on the basis of what's important to this community. Because this community doesn't have a voice. We are one of the most socially progressive communities in the country, but that's not what we're getting in terms of even the recent situation in terms of the candidate for Warringah and her comments. We are also one of the most environmentally focused communities in this country, but we have a situation where Australia is out of step with the rest of the world in terms of climate change. We've got Tony Abbott's climate change targets in 2030, and we also have very much a business-focused community. And the business community I'm speaking to is saying they are crying out for policy certainty around climate change, but also around these other areas that I just talked about in terms of skilled migration and other areas.
So it's possible you could support Labor if they have the policies that align, because if you look at their prescription at the moment, it's closer to your 50% reduction goal of emissions by 2030. So that sounds like it's a possibility.
Look, I said I'm open to work with either side of government. I'm someone who's used to building relationships. And the thing for me is but regardless of who actually forms government, issue by issue, I can vote for this community. And so regardless of who government is, I can make policy better on that basis.
Dave,
look, I just have to respond to you. I don't think you're answering Paul's question with respect. This is one of the most important questions that any independent will face in their first term of parliament or in any term of parliament, in the event of a hung parliament. Which party will you support to form government? And if you're not being upfront with the electorate now and telling them which party you're going to support, I think you're being dishonest with them. You've got to level with them. You've got to say, if I'm elected, this is who I'll support.
But I think the point and the reason why I'm not saying that is, one, I have not made up my mind. It depends what
you
comes
make
on
up
the
your mind before the election?
No, it depends on what happens on the negotiating table on the day.
I think you owe it to the public to tell them before the election.
I'm about policy. And the point is that the community is about policy. It's not about parties.
And we both have policy platforms, Liberal and Labor Party. You can study them now and decide which one you'd like to support.
No, and I will negotiate very, very effectively for this community if it comes to a hung parliament, and I will absolutely stand issue by issue on the community priorities for in any parliament. That's what I will do.